Hi guys. What I have done is I've spent the lion's share of my day today developing a model for what will be your final project. As we've gone into the semester, I realized that the textbook hasn't allowed you to really sort of draw out into your own creative skills and inspiration. And so I'm going to revise our final to be something a little bit more free structured, but hopefully it will give you some good inspiration. So what I want you guys to do, and you'll see on the prompt, is that I want you to design a cover for your memoir. So if you were going to write a memoir about yourself and you were going to have it published, what would the cover be? I have provided a template for you that I will actually save to the Blackboard site that you can download, so it will have the exact dimensions. But what I want to see in that is the use of an array of tools, and maybe some new ones that you find on your own that actually weren't directly addressed in the textbook. You won't be penalized if you don't, but I really want to see you take some creative risks. And I will share with you my journey today in completing my own assignment prompt. And it's probably taken me about 6 hours with a few interruptions to render the image that I'm about to show you. And no, it is not the United States. But I will explain to you how I did this. So here it is. I'm going to click on this tab. And you can see that I have developed my memoir. And I found inspiration. I thought, part of me is that I have lived my life all over the country, and some of it by accident in terms of some life choices that were rather impulsive. I moved across the country a few times. And in many of those cases, I made some bad choices. I left my college education to live on my own in an apartment. I had a roommate that was, into doing highly illegal drugs, and just a lot of these things that you learn in this process. So, of growing old, so I decided, this idea of living in any number of states in this country and having some crazy experiences in them, it just seemed to lend itself to the title of Crazy State. So in order to do this, I did a number of things. First of all, I created a background shape. And I'm going to show you right now. I have a clipping mask applied, and in the textbook you learn how to make a clipping mask, but I'm going to release it so you can see what it's doing. The clipping mask is in effect blocking out content that flows off the edge of the document here. So if you see around here, here's the corners of our printable area, and then I have a bleed around the edge indicated by the red line. So the clipping mask cuts off the stuff that flows beyond the boundary of the actual final printed space. What I did to this is I actually Googled something. I initially started out inspired by sort of leather. I've been writing in my son's leather journal, documenting stories of him, so I was just thinking about that. And actually by accident, in the process of rendering this whole illustration with the tire tracks in the United States kind of tilted and scribbled on, I stumbled upon by accident creating asphalt, sort of asphalt look and feel. It's not perfect, but I think it does kind of evoke the feeling of being on asphalt, which much of my travels were on the road. So I did this through the effects panel, and I went in and I believe I applied the sponge effect. Now this is a vector effect. So I had to make sure that I checked my document raster settings to make sure that they were high, because when you start working in vectors, moving to rasters, you want to make sure that you have high resolution to generate quality images. So I'm going to hit cancel, but yes, that was 300 dpi. So that's simply manipulating the sponge effect. Let's see, let's go to artistic. It's down here in the sponge, and I clicked on that, and I don't want to do that. But I'll go over here to the appearance panel, and with the object selected, we can see that the sponge effect is in place, and we can look and see what I've done. And you see that my brush size is 1, my definition is 4, and my smoothness is 9. Now, let's redo that. Oh no, it's reapplying it. So sometimes things happen by accident. Run with them. They might inspire your ideas, What happened is I was thinking, you're on the road a lot, traveling across the country. I thought, I need tires. And do I have the ability to render tire tracks quickly and easily? No, I don't. So what I did is I went out and did a Google search, and I sought out tire tracks and free vector downloads for brushes. So I Google searched for brush patterns. And then once I brought the brush patterns in, they acted as a brush. I went and I outlined my stroke. So for example, if I were to draw a line over here and apply a brush pattern, let's use this one. All right, there's my stroke. You notice that it's still a stroke here as indicated by the blue line going up and down. With the object selected, I can say object, path, outline stroke, and what it does is it takes away the line functionality of it. Now it sees it as a graphic object. So I'm free to apply effects to it. And what I did is I went and I think that I'm trying to remember what I did. I may have applied the sponge, or no, I know what I did. I went into the opacity. Here, we can see what I did. I just select my object there, and I selected roughen to make it look a little less clean, because we all know that tire tracks never look that pristine. We do roughen, and we see that my size was 6.64%, my detail was 38.86. And I rest assured you guys, I did not go in there thinking that I was going to do this. This was accidental. This was, if anything, haphazard, as I wrote in my cheesy little magazine reviews of my fictitious book cover here. I found a picture of myself that I thought looked kind of journalisty, and I placed it into the page. And then I wrote all these things. In order to get the look and feel of the back of the book, which I think I still have some way to go on it, I just actually pulled one of my own books from my desk and I referenced the back to see sort of what the standard format is. I still need to put an ISBN on there and a price. Those are all sort of the tiny details that some of us might overlook when we're designing something that really lend it the character that we want. I even created a barcode. Look at this, of different size stroke sizes. You'll see that is a 3.677 point stroke, as opposed to this one, which is simply a 0.919 point stroke. You can see over here on the appearance panel, simply a white block, etc. This is actually, I went searching for a vector outline of the United States and I downloaded it. Made sure it was free. There are free ones out there. And my original plan shifted in the beginning, to be honest with you. I had hoped to have the United States kind of coming at you on a sphere, kind of uplifted. But I realized, based upon my time constraints, I wasn't going to be able to do that. So I decided, basically after walking through the activities in Chapter 11 and Chapter 12, I decided to use the scribble feature, and I applied a few instances of it, and then I grouped 3 layers of the United States, one being the red scribble, one being the tannish scribble, and then one just being a solid block fill of the United States together into one object. So the text here was a font that I converted to outlines. It was actually Interstate font. I had downloaded that previously for something else. And I roughened it up a little bit just so it looked a little original. You know, that's what a lot of artists do, is they manipulate their fonts. So anyway, I'm hoping that you have some fun with this. I would like you to really think about what the theme of your memoir might be if you were to write it. It again will help me learn a little bit more about you. Have fun writing the reviews. Be nice to yourself. Please also outline your fonts when you're done. Save it as a PDF and then save it as an Illustrator file, and outline your fonts if you can. But what you want to do before you outline your fonts is save a version of the file without the fonts outlined. That way you can go back and edit if you find a typo or something in there. Anyway, really want you to have fun with this. You'll see that this would be my pen name. That was my birth name. Anyway, so have a great time, and I look forward to seeing what you can do.